Have you ever looked at someone incredibly successful and just wondered, what's their secret? What really separates the people who achieve great things from everyone else? For a long time, we've been told it's all about talent. But that's not the whole story. Today, we're diving into the one quality that science shows is the real predictor of long-term success. And honestly, it might just change how you think about your own potential. So, let's just get right to it with this big question. What do you think matters more? Being a natural, having that raw talent, or just putting in the hard work, day after day? I mean, we all love stories about prodigies and geniuses, right? It makes it seem like some people are just born with a golden ticket. But what if that's just a small piece of a much, much bigger puzzle? Well, it turns out that a whole bunch of research points to something completely different. It points to a quality that has way less to do with what you're born with and everything to do with your spirit. That quality is called grit. And really truly understanding what it is might just be the key to unlocking how you approach every single goal you have. Okay, so what is this stuff really? What is grit? Let's break it down and get right to the source of this honestly game-changing idea. So look closely at the two key words here, passion and perseverance. This is so important. Grit isn't just about being stubborn. It's not about banging your head against a wall. It's about perseverance that's fueled by a genuine passion. It means having a goal so far in the distance, one that you care about so deeply, that you're willing to push through the struggle, the boredom, and all the setbacks, not just for a few weeks, but for years. And look, this isn't just some feel-good motivational buzzword. The whole idea of grit was researched and brought to light by Angela Duckworth, a psychologist over at the University of Pennsylvania. Her work is fascinating. She studied everyone from cadets at West Point to kids in the National Spelling Bee. And what she found, over and over again, was that when it comes to predicting who will succeed in the real world, grit is a better indicator than talent, IQ, you name it. And that brings us to the really big idea here. We've all been taught to think that being the smartest person in the room is the biggest advantage you can have. But the data tells a completely different story. And frankly, it's a much more hopeful one for all of us. And this isn't just theory. It's super relevant to the world we work in today. In fact, a recent article in the Economic Times was looking ahead to what the professional world will look like in 2025, and it basically confirmed everything Duckworth's research discovered. The article found that grit is one of the biggest drivers of success in your career, and here's the key takeaway. A high IQ might get you the interview, it might get your foot in the door, but it's your grit that decides how far you're actually going to walk once you're inside. Let's really break this down. Think about it this way. IQ measures your potential. Grit, on the other hand, measures your determination. An IQ score can't tell you what someone will do when they fail, or when they get frustrated, or when a project just feels impossible. But that's exactly where grit shines. It's what kicks in when things get tough. It lets you adapt, learn from what went wrong, and keep moving. It's kind of like IQ is having a really fast sports car, but grit, that's the fuel in the tank and the sheer will to actually drive it across the entire country. One is just potential, the other is real-world performance. So what's actually going on in our heads when we show grit? Well, it really comes down to two psychological superpowers. First up is resilience. And this isn't about never failing. It's the exact opposite. It's about seeing failure as temporary and using it to bounce back even stronger. It's a mindset that says, okay, that didn't work. That's just data, not a dead end. And then there's consistency. Oh man, this might be the hardest part of all. You know how motivation feels, right? It's an emotion. It comes and goes. But consistency, that's a discipline. It's about building the habit of just showing up, especially on the days you really don't feel like it, because you made a promise to your future self. Okay, so the theory sounds great, right? But what does grit actually look like out in the wild? Let's check out some real-world examples from people who achieved some pretty amazing things. I mean, this quote from Thomas Edison is maybe the perfect definition of grit in action. Just think about that mindset for a second. He didn't see those thousands and thousands of attempts to make a light bulb as failures. He saw them as steps. Each wrong answer was just a process of elimination that got him one step closer to the right one. That is pure 100% grit. It's the mental strength to reframe failure as just a necessary part of the journey. And you see this exact same mindset everywhere you look. Think about professional athletes. Of course they have talent, but talent is just the price of admission. What makes them great are the thousands of hours nobody sees. In the gym, on the field, practicing the same fundamental move over and over and over again. That's grit. Or what about entrepreneurs? Most successful businesses are built on a mountain of no's. They get told their idea sucks, investors reject them, their first products fail. The ones who make it are the ones who have such a deep, passionate belief in their long-term vision that they can weather that storm of rejection and keep pushing. And now we get to the best part, because here is the most empowering message in all of this. Grit is not some fixed trait. You're not just born with it or not. It's a skill. It's like a muscle that you can actually train and develop. So let's walk through a simple 4-step guide for how you can start building more grit in your own life, starting today. All right, here's the framework. Step 1, your goals have to be meaningful to you. That all passion part of grit has to come from something you actually care about. Step 2 is daily discipline. Just start small. The goal here isn't to be perfect overnight, it's just to build the habit of showing up. Step 3, and this is a big one, learn to embrace failure. This is a huge mental shift. Instead of being afraid of mistakes, you start to get curious about them. What can I learn here? How can I do it better next time? And finally, step 4 is all about consistency. It just ties everything together. Success is never one giant leap. It's 1,000 tiny little steps taken again and again. It really truly is a marathon, not a sprint. So, as we start to wrap this all up, what's the one big idea you should take with you? What's the main message from all this research on grit? I think Angela Duckworth herself said it best with this quote. Enthusiasm is common. Endurance is rare. Think about that. Getting excited about a new project or a new goal, that's the easy part. Everybody feels that initial burst of energy, but that feeling always fades. Endurance, the ability to keep going long after that excitement is gone because you're driven by a deep purpose, that is what's rare. And that is what leads to incredible achievements. Which brings us to our final, and I think most important question. And this one is for you to think about. When you look at your own life, your own dreams, what goal is so important, so meaningful to you, that it's worth your passion, your perseverance, your grit?